So what's next in the investigation into these attacks in Paris and the battle against ISIS? FiOS 1 News anchor Odetta Rogers and I talked to Frank Spano, a former federal agent and founder of the Counterterrorism Institute in New York, to talk about how people from our area and people around the world are dealing with this threat. All right, thanks for joining us today, Frank. Let's start off with one of the major headlines that the French president says that ISIS is responsible, and ISIS, in fact, has posted online that it is claiming responsibility. How does the U.S. react as an ally of France based on this information? How is it different?
Right, well, we're definitely in a position where they are one of our closest allies. We need to step up to the plate at this point and project our force into their environment, both with potential aid to France directly, and more importantly, taking the fight to ISIS, bringing the fight to the ground, actually going after the individuals responsible, because this is an ideological issue, one that's not hindered by borders, it's not hindered, it cannot be stopped by locking down a country. This is a pervasive ideology that thrives in the areas where there's a lack of education, a lack of awareness, and worse, an unwillingness to step up to the plate and take the necessary action.
What would some of the next steps be then?
Well, we have to start to look at some of the root causes behind the attack. Certainly we have this ideological group, ISIS, a group whose supporters number up to approximately 1 million people on total. And that's a stunning force that we need to fight. But worse, it's that pervasive ideology that needs to be addressed. And the way to do that is through education, raising awareness, letting people know what they can do in order to protect themselves and their families in the event of an emergency. We need to be able to do that here at home.
Good advice.
Talk to us about the communication and coordination efforts between international, state, and local authorities with local authorities here in our area.
Right. Actually, in New York, we are quite fortunate. The NYPD has a fantastic program that they were at the forefront of placing their detectives at various positions throughout the world. And what that has provided is the NYPD has a direct link to intelligence as it's occurring, as it's happening on the ground. They have detectives embedded with many of the nation's largest and most prolific police departments, including the Paris police.
One of the things that's coming out as is really shocking and startling is that there was really no indication that this was coming down the pike. And when you think about the concerns that we've had in our region as it relates to homegrown terrorists, what might we be doing so that we can perhaps not be in that position the next time around?
Right. The issue today is that this was shocking, but unfortunately not surprising. You know, on average in 2014, there was a daily average of approximately 40 terrorist attacks every single day. Wow. That led to the deaths of 100, approximately, on average, 100 people every day, and another about 100 injured. So the likelihood of this occurring is high. Okay. ISIS publishes videos frequently of mass executions. One of their most recent was 250 children, 12 to 15 years old, executed in a pit. And so this is not necessarily surprising. We need to begin to recognize that these issues are taking place every day, not just here in the cities that we are most familiar with.
Do you think that this is going to be something that we're going to talk about and be concerned with for the next few days, and then everybody's going to carry on with their lives? Or do you think that this is going to be a watershed moment similar to 9/11?
Right, and that's the greatest issue at play with this particular attack. What happens when the French flags and the Eiffel Towers are replaced on Facebook with the next big thing, the next coffee cup craze? Where do we go from there? What are the next steps? Are we going to carry forward this hurt, this willingness to take action that we see today? Are we willing to carry that forward into the future? I believe the only way to win this fight is to do exactly that.
And in our final seconds, talk to us, give us a 1, 2, 3 as far as what we need to be vigilant as here in our region.
In our region, we are within what I would consider a high likelihood attack area. Now, granted, there are no credible threats at this time, but we've certainly seen them in the past. A victory in New York and the New York metropolitan area would be a high ideological victory for our enemies. So a high state of awareness, a greater degree of self-education is absolutely essential moving forward.
So stay aware and then check out some of the programs that your institute offers. That sounds like real
Absolutely.
good information.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.